Welcome back to Shit Show Part 3. Didn't get much, I didn't get any recording when I was taking this thing off. Pretty much last video was me, last part was me showing what I had to take off. And this is pretty much the end effect here with the whole exhaust off. You can see all the liquids that I'm leaking on the exhaust here. What to say? I talked about these bolts in the front that connect to the headers. This side, I used a lot of this lubricant. What was it called? Let's go see. The oil that creeps. So I was using this, spraying it on my rusted bolts to help lubricate and loosen it up. For these, the trick that I found was spraying from the top and the bottom. So, I'd spray on the bottom, and then I'd spray from the top and let it seep around the nut and help get in there and loosen it up, which helped a lot for getting them out. I mean, it took a lot, the impact on it. We were just fucking hammering on it. And then this side didn't do so well. I probably could have lubricated it better and let it sit longer and let it soak in better, which would have prevented me from, let's see if I can pull it out here, snapping it right off from my header. So it snapped it clean off for me just using impact. And that was just great. So now on this side, I can't even see it barely. But I might just replace my headers with better ones now at this point, because this was such a pain to get out. Had the small bracket right there. That wasn't too bad. And then we had the bracket here holding it up. Right now, if I look under the car, I still have it on. I have to remove 2 bolts that are just holding it up, and then that'll full come off, and I'll probably show that in the next video, give a better look at it. But that was a kind of a pain, and we didn't fully take it off because there's on the top part, there's this square, and it's supposed to kind of be welded on, we think, because the one side we were able to just loosen it right out, while this side did not, and the square actually broke, it seemed like, and it was just spinning. So we turned the whole thing just so we could pop the whole exhaust out. And then, just breaking, loose, undoing these. And then in the back, struggle to get out there. Been crawling around this entire night. In the back, we just took these nuts off on them and pretty much popped those out. The right one up here popped right off. Left one, I had to go from above and I had to push it down while my friend below was wiggling it. Popped right off. And then had a jack. First it was here, and then we moved it to the back, kind of here. It sat better. And when we did that, we had to kind of push it forward so that we could pop these out, because they were on this bracket here. So we pushed it forward to make it free, and then pushed it down, and then we lowered the jack, and then just rolled the whole exhaust out carefully with, all the things. But so I'm just exhausted. That was a lot of work. Just so much work. I'm glad it's out. And then we started her up, and holy crap, does this thing sound so loud when you don't have the exhaust. Holy crap. So that's one benefit of for sure taking the exhaust off. You just get that pure raw sound. But let's see, our main objective here was to get at the tail, the shaft here, so we can take it out tomorrow or whenever I can, and replace all these seals and stuff. I already unplugged the speedometer, because why not? But this just gives us so much better access to here, and then just better access around here. And, oh look, you can see there, them off right there. But yeah, I don't know how much this really helps Twixu and I talk so much, but that's a tomorrow problem. Oh, and then we found there's like a spot right here. Oh, check this. You see that tag? That's where like our differential fluid fill-up spot is. It was loose, like really loose. It was leaking all over there. That's what we found, and so loose. And then we tightened it up, and hopefully that'll fix that. But that means I should probably change the fluids in there, which is another thing to do. That's another fluid to change. Just finding things to do. But honestly, you're just happy that the exhaust is out finally. Just kind of tired for the night. It's a lot of effort. Definitely recommend having a friend to help for moral support and physical support. It's a lot of work for sure. Especially if those bolts are rusted. I recommend, using, getting some fluid that helps with rusted bolts. This helped a lot. I sprayed every single one of them down with this, maybe once or twice, depending on how rusted it looked, just so it came out way better. I know there's tons of other fluids you could possibly use, but that one is what I had in the garage, and I used, and it worked like a charm. But some of it was very difficult. I think this could have been easily done way quicker if it didn't have the rusted bolts, because we were just spending so much time getting the bolts. I'm just exhausted here. I didn't even say like which sockets and stuff, or which blah blah blah, like 15 millimeter for these, which I had to get a extended deep socket 15 millimeter for the headers, because apparently I didn't have one, so that kind of sucked. And then just finding the right angles to get at the nut for sure. Yeah, I'm really just gonna stop here for the night. I'm so tired, exhausted, ready to go to bed. So if you're doing the same thing right now, good luck. Continue the battle, and we'll get back to whatever part is next for the shit show. Hello, this is future me. So after this video, if you can tell, I was pretty tired and morally drained, honestly. Everything kept piling on to me, more and more work I kept finding, and I kind of just stopped recording any videos after that. I just didn't have any motivation, which is a problem, because I got a lot of stuff done that I wish I did record so I could share it with people, but I didn't. But I'll just talk about it. So after this, I pulled out the drive shaft. Really, I took out those bolts on that C beam, that C beam over the drive shaft. Very tricky. I was trying to hold up the transmission and kind of hold up the differential and rear end just in case if it moved. But wiggled that out, and then got the tail shaft housing off pretty easily. Took out the seal, the O-ring, the bushing I had trouble with. I was able to get it out, but I struggled to push it back in. That took a few days of trying to find like a kit that I could use to push it back in without ruining the inside, which I was able to. That took quite a few days. Put that back all together, the drive shaft back together. While I was waiting for the kit, I did replace the rear differential fluid, because it wasn't a seal that was bad. It was just the plug wasn't fully tight, and it was like hand loose. So all I did was just change out the fluid. Probably needed it, so that was good. I think I did like the royal purple stuff, and it's been working just fine. But put all that drive shaft stuff back in, C-beam back in as they call it. And then that's when I started I did the transmission's fluid change. I do have a picture of that, but not a video. But that was quite simple. There's many videos online that you can look for those if you want to research how to do that. And then after that, I worked on the oil pan, which I have a video out on how I did it, because I had to do it a few times because I accidentally snapped a stud in, and then I had to screw it out, which was a really scary thing. I was like, damn, I really messed this up. But in the end, I got it, and I have more experience now and feel more confident in taking my car apart, I guess, in that matter. So I was happy to get that done, and then the next thing was putting the exhaust back up. And I talked about maybe getting a new exhaust or maybe doing new headers, and I didn't have the money for either of those things. Exhausts are expensive, headers are expensive, and plus if I wanted to put new headers on, I would have to rip out the whole emissions that the car has, because it has the air pump that pumps air and recirculates the exhaust. There's an exhaust recirculation valve and all this air stuff pumping air through the exhaust, and I'd have to remove it all, just leading to more weeks of this car being on jacks, which I just didn't want. I just wanted to get it fixed to a point where I could enjoy it during the summer before fall comes and winter comes, and I just didn't have the money for that. So I had to there's exhaust studs on there, the exhaust headers. I snapped 3 of them on the passenger side, and the driver's side also, the studs were just so rusted that some the threads were gone. And in the end, I was like, I'm gonna have to take these headers off. So I took the headers off. Driver's side came off pretty easily. Passenger side, I had to drop the header down below to get it out, and then once I got it out, was able to get this vice kind of grip. It's not a vice grip, it's just this one stand, you're able to get it down. Took a blowtorch, an extremely hot one, heated the studs up so hot that they pretty much turned bright red, and then just grabbed a wrench and just turned as hard as I could, and I spun those out, and then rethreaded it, got some thread lock for high temp, put new studs in them, and then let those dried, and then got new gaskets for the headers, put them back on. It was kind of a pain, I'm not gonna lie. While I was in there, I was like, oh, I might as well replace the spark plugs because the headers are out, so I replaced the spark plugs and put the new headers on, let those dried, and then my friend helped me put the exhaust back up, which went pretty simple, honestly. It took us 30 minutes, I think, maybe less, to put the exhaust back up, which was awesome after spending so much time taking it off. So that was great. And then I think we let it dry, and then once we turned it on, just ton of smoke coming out from the engine. It looked like it was smoking super badly, but that was just because of all the penetrating fluid I'd used. Penetrating fluid, or whatever you want to call it. I used so much of it that it was just burning it off, and I thought the engine was smoking. No, it wasn't. It was just that burning off. So that's the thing to keep in mind after doing all that. Check that the fluid was all good. We went out for a test drive, and for the past next few days, I was always checking oil and transmission, looking underneath my car, looking for any leaks, and didn't find any. And that was my experience after this video, which I wish I could have maybe, showed more. I wish I could have showed more. I wish I could have recorded more, but most of this is all with my iPhone, I'm not gonna lie. I do have some videos that are gonna come out with a GoPro that I realized I had, but it's kind of bad quality, but you'll get to listen to my amazing voice and my thoughts while I'm alone, while working in a car, I guess. I don't know if that's really entertaining to people, but I'm just sharing my journey with this car. It's a really awesome car. It's difficult to work with, I'm not gonna lie. I've heard this one saying that my dad and I always repeat, to take one thing off, you gotta take 5 other things off with a Corvette. But since I bought it, I bought this car for the challenge that it had things wrong with it, and my goal was to fix it. That's my whole goal with this car. I know it's not a perfect car. The body's in really good shape, but there's things that are wrong with it, and I bought it knowing that because I wanted something to work on. I wanted that. I wanted to put effort into it, and that's what you get for getting these cars. But, oh man, these 80s cars are awesome. So that's really all I got to say about it, is that I say a lot. I'm very sorry for that. I realize when I'm editing these videos that I say it too much. But this is the update on how I got it all back together, pretty much, and what I did and everything else I did. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have good luck on the cars that you work on, I guess.